Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Trishy, and for today's class we will be doing a yin yoga class dedicated to kindness and positivity. So come and take a comfortable seat on your mat, and just as you will climb to your practice and the practice you're about to have, just focus in on your heart center. Feel free to close your eyes and consider and think about kindness. So not only the kindness that you show to others, but also the kindness that you show yourself. Bring your hands in prayer in front of your heart center. Inhale deeply through your nose and then exhale through your mouth. The first pose that we're going to take is a child's pose. So bring your knees wide and your big toes to touch, and before you settle down, sit back on your heels, lengthen through your spine, and then walk your fingertips out in front of you, bringing your forehead down to the mat. So the reason why I would like you to walk your fingertips out in front of you is so that your palms stay level and centered across from each other, and then this will feel more centering this way. Feel free to grab a block and place it under your chest or your forehead. And if you have any lower back sensitivity, you can bring your knees a little closer together. So you can either keep your fingertips straight out in front of you, or you can bring your hands in prayer behind the back of your neck. So this is a little bit of a chest opener this way, and you're opening up into the triceps and the shoulders. So if you're new to the practice of yin yoga, we hold passive poses for minutes at a time. The goal is to have completely relaxed muscles so that the emphasis goes on to the joints and connective tissues. Yin yoga also benefits your organs. And if you're looking at an intensity scale for each pose, 1 to 10, 1 being that you feel nothing, no sensation at all, and 10 being you feel pain, you usually want to stay around a 4 or a 5. So as you start your practice in child's pose, feel free to sink into the posture and consider kindness and positivity as you do the class. From here on, I won't be talking as much so that you can truly make this class an introspective practice. If you had your hands behind the nape of your neck, slowly extend them back forward, and then very slowly push into your palms and Very slowly lift back up. Bring your knees together and lift up into tabletop pose. Take a couple rounds of cat and cow, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, then exhaling, rounding the spine, chin to chest. So your hips are over knees and shoulders over wrists. From here, we're going to go into winged dragon. So step your right foot in between your palms. Lift your right toes up and then roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Lengthen through the back left leg. So your right knee is opening up wide to the side. And I like to place a block underneath my left thigh, just for a little bit more stability as gravity guides you down. So try not to dump all your weight into your wrists. Try to stay as light as you can on your arms and wrists and palms. This is a pretty challenging yin yoga pose, so try to be aware if there's any tension building up in your body in any other spots or in the spots that you're stretching into that right hip, and try to relax them. If you have started to fidget or that your breath has become short or shallow, you can always lessen the intensity of the pose by backing out a little bit or completely backing out of the pose. Slowly begin to bring your right foot back to meet the left. Drop your hips over your heels for a brief child's pose, just to counter stretch. And then come back into tabletop pose. Bring your left foot to the outside edge of your left palm. Lift your left toes up and open your foot out to the side, coming onto the edge of your foot, letting your hip go wide. So again, you can place a block underneath your right hip, right thigh rather, and try to get as comfortable as you can in such an intense pose. Where can you bring more positivity into your life? Where can you allow the space for more kindness? Let gravity bring you deeper and deeper into the pose. Begin to release, stepping your left knee back to meet the right. Go ahead and sit your hips back over your heels for a brief, easy child's pose. And slowly lift back up, walking your palms all the way forward and coming to lay down on your belly. So we're going to take Sphinx Pose first, and then about halfway through, if you want a little more intensity, we're going to raise up into Seal Pose. So when you're in Sphinx Pose, you can increase the intensity by walking your elbows closer to you, or decrease the intensity by walking them further away. Either way, bring your shoulders onto the back body, open your chest, relax your feet, and feel free to close your eyes. So taking heart and shoulder openers are a great way to increase positivity in your life. They open the heart, expand the chest and the breath. So if you want to increase the intensity here, you can simply just press your palms into the floor and straighten through the elbows. Again, the intensity depends on how close or far away your palms are. So if you were in seal pose, slowly lower your elbows back down to the mat. Stack one palm on top of the other and simply rest your forehead down on top of your hands. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs from side to side to release any tension in your lower back. You can also give your hips a little wiggle side to side. From here, we're going to be coming into a shoulder opener. So bend your left arm at a 90-degree angle out from your shoulder, and then roll onto your left hip, left foot, left side of your head. And you can grab a block and place your forearm of your right hand arm on top of the block, so it keeps your shoulder back, but you can also relax fully into the pose, because the stretch is coming mostly into the left side body. So if you're feeling any tingling sensation, simply lower your left elbow a little lower and see if that helps it. If not, just come completely out of the pose. Slowly begin to straighten your legs as you roll back onto your tummy. If you're using the block, you can move it over to the opposite side and bring your right elbow in a 90-degree angle from your shoulder, palm facing down. Roll onto your right hip. You can either keep your legs straight or not. And then if you did so on the first side, you can place the block underneath your shoulder or forearm. Let your awareness see if there's any difference between the right and left side after opening that left shoulder. Take notice of any sensations. So as you lay here, let something come to mind that is a positive thought right here, right now in this moment. Something that makes you feel happy. Begin to straighten your legs if your knees were bent. Roll back onto your tummy. And come back up to hands and knees. And from here, the next pose will be Swan Pose. So place your right knee behind your right wrist, extending your left leg out behind you. And I like to place a block underneath my chest, but you can choose what feels best and right for you. And as you exhale, lower your forehead all the way down to a block or your palms or the floor. Hip openers are a great way to clear out our emotional junk drawers. They release a lot of tension so that you can do right by positivity and kindness. If your mind has started to wander, bring your awareness back to your breath. Otherwise, let gravity guide you lower and lower to the floor. Very slowly press your palms into the floor as you lift up. Do any little movements that feel intuitive to you. What I like to do is just extend my right leg back and then cat in my spine, bringing my chin to chest and rounding the spine. Okay, so we'll take Swan on the opposite side. So bring your left knee behind your left wrist, extending your right leg out behind you. Hips are square and centered. You can either lower down to your blocks or to the floor. Try to relax everything you can. If you feel like you have a lot of internal dialogue going on and you're finding it hard to stay still and not fidget, it's completely normal. It's normal for new beginners to yin yoga to feel a lot of resistance to the practice. But as you continue on and keep going, that will become less and less so that you can still your internal dialogue and find peace in the poses. Gently press your palms into the ground as you very slowly lift back up. Do any movements that feel great to you. I like to extend my left toes behind me and cat through my spine, rounding it and tucking my chin in. But whatever feels great, just to get that blood flowing in the left leg again. The next pose will be frog pose, and I'm going to turn and face you so that my knees can stay onto the mat. You might like to have towels or blankets underneath the knees. So you basically bring your legs into a 90-degree angle, opening the hips wide towards the floor. And you lift up and straighten through your arms, spreading through your fingertips, and just let gravity guide your hips lower to the floor. This is a pretty intense pose, so try to stay with your breath, feel grounded, and feel free to close your eyes. So you look like a frog, but this pose can actually bring up a lot of tough emotions for people, and just so you know, that's perfectly normal and perfectly fine. Just allow yourself the space and loving energy into your own heart to stay in the pose. If not, feel free to come out of the pose at any time. And slowly begin to walk your knees back in very carefully. Take your time. So from here, you can windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And then you'll need your blocks for deer pose in the next pose here. So bring your left shin parallel to the long edge of your mat and bring your right shin parallel to the short edge of your mat. Place your blocks along your right thigh and try to ground down that left hip as much as possible. From here, take a twist, placing your fingertips or your palms onto your blocks. So the left knee and hip being internally rotated is a very good counter stretch for the external rotation of frog. And be sure to keep your spine and the muscles in your back as relaxed as you possibly can. So you don't want to have any engagement in your spine. You can always lessen the twist in order for that to happen. If you would like a little more intensity into your left hip, simply just tuck your tailbone under more. Slowly release your twist. Bring your left knee back to meet the right, and we'll switch sides. So you can bring your blocks over to your left side. Bring your left shin parallel to the front edge of your mat, and the right shin parallel to the long edge of your mat. Ground down through your right hip. Lengthen your spine as you twist open to the left, placing your palms onto the blocks. So try to take notice of how your left hip feels after doing the internal hip rotation. Feel your heart space. Let kindness flow into your space. Keep your back body relaxed. Very slowly and mindfully begin to release your twist. Bring your knees back together. You can move your blocks off to the side. We won't be needing them anymore. Lower down onto your back. And before we take Shavasana, it might feel good just to bring your knees into the chest and give them a hug. Maybe rocking side to side, massaging your lower back. And then stretch all the way out into Shavasana. It might feel good even before taking Shavasana to widen your feet to the edges of the mat and let your knees drop in together. And just feeling the breath in the lower belly. And then if you were already in Shavasana or not, lengthen your legs out. Let them relax open to the side. palms face the sky. Let your breathing be normal and natural. Take these last few minutes of relaxation to feel the effects of your practice on your body. Begin to wake up, wiggling fingers and toes. It might feel good to turn your head from side to side. Bring your feet together, raise your arms overhead, and you might like to grab onto a wrist and just stretch as long as you possibly can. Roll over to one side and use the strength of your arms to help yourself come into a comfortable seat. Let your palms rest on your knees. And take a moment just to let all the work you did on your mat today just wash over you. How can you bring positivity and kindness into your life and into the life of others? How can you spread that joy and love as well as to yourself? Bring your palms together in front of your heart space. Let's take a cleansing breath together. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Thank you so much for practicing today with me, yogis. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much. Namaste.